There is a Manchester United player who is not getting the attention he deserves. A Manchester United player, I believe, is going to surprise everyone this season, Mason Mount. And so in this video, I'm going to show you why it would be a massive mistake to underestimate the impact Mason Mount could have for us. Without any further ado, let's analyze. So Mason Mount has doubled down on his impressive performance against Bournemouth with an even more impressive second half cameo against Everton. And here I'm going to highlight a few ways that he has impacted our performance and the result that we have gotten. But I just want to start by just like Mason Mount, to me, like one of the things that really got my attention when he was playing for Chelsea is that he was like the Energizer bunny. You know, he's just everywhere and he's relentless. Okay, so that's what Mason Mount is all about. He's work rate with technique. That's Mason Mount. And here in this sequence here, we can see it as the ball drops inside the box. He tries this back heel, you know, a little bit of flair. But immediately, as you can see here, you know, he's still applying pressure on Everton, making it harder for them to clear the ball. And the moment Bruno gets the ball, it's of course Mason Mount who makes the run into the half space and then a pinpoint cutback pass towards Dorgu, which could have been an assist. Okay, so again, this just highlights how relentless he is and the amount of pressure that he applies and exerts on the opposition. And here, of course, in the lead up to the goal that he scored, a beautiful goal, again, it starts with the same concept, which is him applying pressure on O'Brien, forcing him to go long so that the defenders can win the ball. The moment we do and Bruno Fernandes gets the ball, Mason Mount comes back in order to provide a short passing option here in the blind spot behind the midfield line. But of course, Bruno, typical Bruno fashion, goes for the long ball into space towards Dorgu. We get a throw in, and then Mason Mount again. Smart movement here, again in that blind spot in the half spaces behind these defenders and midfielders. Collects the ball. Beautiful creativity from Bruno. But what I like about this is that he doesn't hesitate. You know, he's just quick, incisive football and just quality in that final ball. And this goal is amazing. He doesn't even look at the goalkeeper. He knows where Pickford is, and that's a beautiful curler into the net, and that's a beautiful goal. Another thing that is understated with Mason Mount is his defensive contribution. I think maybe because he's not the biggest guy out there, but I think that defensively, his ability to win the ball is actually quite underrated. Here, for example, against Garner, he's able to use his body to block him. He gets the ball, and then he just plays it simple and lays it to Bruno Fernandes. Another thing about Mason Mount is that he's always scanning. Look at him. He's always scanning and assessing his options. And this is going to come into play in a minute. But I think that when it comes to playmaking ability, I think Mason Mount, again, is highly underrated. He's an extremely smart tactical player. And here we're going to see that same vision, you know, that ability to scan and to know what's happening around him. Because here he's positioning himself in a situation where it's easy for Casemiro to find him. He's just in the right spot. But then the moment he receives the ball, he doesn't have to think twice about it. This is just the right pass towards Dorgu. Many people would not have played that pass. There's just a beautiful through ball towards Dorgu, who then has a shot, even though he could have laid it for for Højlund, who goes on to have an overreaction. So what I'm trying to say with this video is that I believe that a lot of Manchester United fans, and understandably so, okay, I understand, have given up on Mason Mount. And I think that frustration stems from a variety of sources. First of all, the fact that we have paid £60 million to get him out of Chelsea when he was on his last year of contract. Of course, the injuries. Those injuries have also meant that he could not get into any sort of rhythm. Therefore, his performances have suffered. So yeah, I think that frustration and disappointment is perfectly justified. But I also think that he is one hell of a player. And at Manchester United, if he can get that rhythm, I think that we have, like, I think it's cliche to say, but I think he's going to feel like a new signing because we haven't really felt the impact of Mason Mount at Manchester United since he signed 2 years ago. So if we feel it this season, it's as if we signed Mason Mount this season. I also think that it's just the perfect timing because with players like Cunha and Bemu, while of course I am very happy that we signed them, there's always the risk that sometimes players feel a little bit too comfortable if they don't feel that there is a natural competitor, you know, just lighting up that fire up their ass, you know. And I think that Mason Mount is kind of like the perfect player to play that role for Manchester United this season because I think that He knows that his stint at Manchester United up to this point has been disappointing. So he's definitely in no way in a position where he can go to Ruben Amorim and be like, I demand, starting spot. No, I think it's perfectly understandable if he starts the season on the bench. But at the same time, I think he's good enough to start for us. So that's kind of like the Mason Mount paradox, if you may. And I think that he's just the right player to just keep us competitive, to give us that squad depth that we will definitely need, even though we don't have European football, while at the same time just being an effective competitor and a formidable competitor for the likes of Cunha, especially because they play in the same position. So yeah, don't sleep on Mason Mount. I know I am known as Mr. Positive, so I'm sure many of you in the comments are going to say, well, no, it's just hopeful thinking and wishful thinking and whatever. No, I think he's a good player. And I think if he can get that rhythm in, I think that we're going to have one hell of a player in our hands. So anyway, guys, that's all for me. But please let me know, what do you think about Mason Mount's performances during this preseason? And also, what kind of impact do you think he's going to have for Manchester United this season? Please leave a comment in the comment section below. And please give the video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Until next time, cheers.